Welcome back to Fox Recaps. Today, I'm going to explain the movie Monsters, released in the year 2019. 5-year-old Tatsuya has been blindfolded by his mother on their way home. When the two are home alone, the father arrives and starts hitting them. He wants Tatsuya to be thrown out of the house for some reason. As the man gets more aggressive, Tatsuya takes off the blindfold and reveals that his eyes glow. It turns out that he was born with a unique ability to hypnotize anyone he gets a look at. Because of his power, the kid is labeled as a monster by his father. He wants Tatsuya to go away from their lives, but the mother cannot get herself to abandon her son. This causes a rift in their relationship, which is why the father abuses them. Having had enough of him, Tatsuya uses his power to make him snap his own neck. The mother cries, mourning her husband's death, and starts seeing Tatsuya as a monster. She makes the hardest decision of her life and puts her hand around Tatsuya's neck, deciding to kill him so he won't hurt anyone else. But Tatsuya figures out what she's trying to do and kills her before she does any harm. As he walks away, we see the mother open her eyes. 20 years have passed after the incident, and Tatsuya has never returned home ever since. Over time, he turned into a thief who hypnotizes people and makes them rob banks. He never had to work a day in his life because of his ability and has never been caught. One day, he's at a market reading a book that his mother once gifted him. Nearby is a pair of twins urging their mother to buy them a toy. Tatsuya sees the girls' desperation and freezes everyone in the market before handing them the masks they want. He asks the hypnotized child what her name is, but hesitates to introduce himself. Since no one has called him by his name for several years, he has almost forgotten it. Near the market, a delivery man named Shuichi is unloading a truck. Tatsuya notices this and uses his power on the guy, but it doesn't work. He's shocked because he's never failed to hypnotize anyone. He tries doing it multiple times, but Shuichi seems to be immune to it. Eventually, he goes inside a building where his friends Akira and B are delivering a parcel. After getting the job done, they return to the vehicle and chat. Tatsuya uses his power on the other two and it works as usual. But when he tries it on Shuichi, he fails again. Shuichi sees his friends freeze for a few seconds, but before he can think anything of it, a speeding truck hits him. Tatsuya is relieved that Shuichi is dead since he doesn't want anyone to interfere with his powers. He returns to the lavish apartment that he's bought from the stolen money. Although Shuichi is dead, his existence creates fear and doubt in Tatsuya's mind. We also find out that his left leg is prosthetic, which causes him to limp. Somewhere else, Shuichi, who has somehow survived the accident, is being treated in a hospital. Even the doctors are surprised at the rate he's recovering. Shuichi reveals that he's never been sick or even had a cold in his life. The only time he was hospitalized was after a car crash in his childhood. After recovering in less than 2 days, Shuichi goes to the person who hit him to receive the monetary compensation. The man turns out to be a poor guitar repairist who wants to pay in installments because he doesn't have the full amount at the moment. His daughter, Kanae, offers to pay Shuichi from the funds she has saved to publish her book. However, Shuichi doesn't feel comfortable taking away their hard-earned cash. Hence, instead, he accepts a job at their shop since he was fired from his previous position after the accident. For the next few weeks, Shuichi learns about his work duties. During this time, he and Kanae get to know each other and form a friendship. Then, one day, Tatsuya gets a hint of Shuichi still being alive. He goes to check and discovers that his power still doesn't work on him. That evening, Akira and B come to visit Shuichi at work. As the group chats, Tatsuya breaks into the house and hypnotizes everyone except Shuichi. He wants to kill the poor guy to gain back control of the world he created for himself. Shuichi panics and asks him who he is, but Tatsuya doesn't answer. He manipulates Akira and B to restrain their own friend and even makes Kanae stab him. When Shuichi finally gets an upper hand, Tatsuya makes Kanae push her father out the window and runs away. After his departure, everyone comes back to their senses and runs to help Kanae's father, but by now he is already dead. A police investigation takes place and Shuichi reveals what happened. But since the story is hard to believe, he's labeled as someone with mental problems. Detective Shibamoto has known Shuichi for a long time and is the only one who believes him. A flashback shows us that 5-year-old Shuichi was with his parents and little brother on a trip. A crash killed all of his family except him. At the time, he felt guilty for not being able to save his brother. He feels the same way about not being able to save Kanae's father. However, Shuichi doesn't tell the police that Kanae was the one who pushed him, knowing that it would break her heart. At home, he finds an iPad that recorded everything that happened last night. Akira and B watch the video and are in shock. Before they can react, Tatsuya arrives at the door with 2 hypnotized men to beat up Shuichi. Akira and B know what he's capable of and immediately hide outside the window. Shuichi somehow saves himself against the attacks by hitting Tatsuya in the eyes, which blurs his vision for some time. They end up at a construction site, where Shuichi again flashes light into Tatsuya's eyes. When Tatsuya struggles to hypnotize the construction workers, Shuichi figures out that his power only works when he can see his target. Using the information, he gets Tatsuya arrested. In the following scene, Shuichi is being interrogated by a police detective. Tatsuya is in the other room with a cloth covering his face, begging the guards to let him see. The guards don't think much of it and take the cloth off. They do not get a chance to regret the decision before he uses his powers on them. The men then come outside and fire at Shuichi. He runs to the other room to save himself while being pursued. Eventually, Tatsuya overpowers Shuichi and is seconds away from killing him. However, he cannot do so because he has never killed anyone with his own hands. Shuichi takes advantage of his hesitation and turns the lights off, disarming him of his powers. Tatsuya runs away from the station before being caught again. Shuichi follows him behind and reaches an overbridge. By now, the overuse of his power has made Tatsuya weak. Still, he makes an entire crowd stop in their tracks and sends them to attack Shuichi. In his head, Tatsuya believes that Shuichi is the bad guy for not obeying his orders as everyone does. At last, he manages to kill Shuichi by throwing a concrete block on him. However, as he walks away, we see Shuichi opening his eyes again. The police look back at the surveillance footage and realize that Shuichi was telling the truth the entire time. They theorize that both Tatsuya and Shuichi must be the result of some kind of mutation in humans. Somewhere else, Tatsuya walks into his apartment to see a bunch of detectives going through his belongings. He freezes them before taking his book and a bundle of money. Then he hears a message through one of the radio phones that claims Shuichi is with the police. Tatsuya is distressed that no matter what he does, Shuichi seems to come back from the dead. Frustrated, he tells the detectives that he's not a monster before making them kill each other. Unbeknownst to him, Detective Shibamoto is in a corner hiding from his sight. He doesn't do anything to help his fellow detectives, fearing for his own life. In the following scene, we see Kanae meeting Tatsuya's mother, who is still alive. She apologizes for her son and still regrets not killing him when he was little. She wishes to meet Shuichi and asks Kanae to call her when she meets him. On returning home, Kanae sees Shuichi waiting for her and tells him about Tatsuya's mother, but she soon realizes he is fast asleep. When he wakes up, he finds her watching the video from the night her father died. Kanae is shocked and heartbroken to find out she was the one who pushed him. In the meantime, Shuichi goes to his mother for closure, but discovers that she has called the police in the house to set him up. An enraged Tatsuya picks up a gun and aims it at her, but cannot get himself to shoot. At the same time, Shuichi calls his mother, but the phone is picked up by Tatsuya. He invites Shuichi to an auditorium packed with people for a final showdown. The next morning, Detective Shibamoto comes to Kanae's house only to find out that Shuichi has already left. He didn't want anyone else's life in danger, hence he didn't tell him about the meeting with Tatsuya. The detective also reveals that Tatsuya's mother was found dead that morning. Meanwhile, at the auditorium, Tatsuya hypnotizes everyone in the audience and makes a man jump off a railing. Following that, several people jump off under his influence. Shuichi wants Tatsuya to feel like the deaths are all his fault. Suddenly, Detective Shibamoto appears behind Tatsuya and holds him at gunpoint. Shuichi also spots them and runs towards the two. However, when he reaches the stairs, Tatsuya has already gained control over the detective. He also jumps off the railing before Shuichi can stop him. As Shuichi watches him in shock, Tatsuya takes the chance to escape through the back door. The audience gains consciousness and sees the dead bodies lying all around the auditorium. Chaos ensues as people run around for their lives. Because of this, Shuichi has a hard time pursuing Tatsuya. But just then, Kanae comes to his rescue and points a gun at the antagonist. She tells him of his mother's death and accuses him of being a monster. The word monster triggers Tatsuya because his father used to call him the same. He takes control of Kanae before spotting Shuichi in the crowd. He sees it as the best opportunity to kill Shuichi and makes the crowd trample him to the ground. Following that, he walks outside while taking Kanae hostage. An armed force has gathered at the exit to stop him. They come near him but find out that he's tricked them with someone else. With little to no effort, Tatsuya uses his power on the police and turns them against each other. Just when he thinks he is safe, Shuichi comes out of the auditorium. As they come face to face for the last battle, Shuichi tells Tatsuya that both of them are monsters who belong to a freak show, but still, they deserve to live. He wants to make a truce with Tatsuya and asks him to calm down. However, Tatsuya is in no mood to help anyone. He takes control of Kanae and makes her climb down the auditorium stairs. He is about to make her fall, but has a change of heart at the last moment. Following that, he points his gun at Shuichi just as Shuichi finds his book on the ground. He has also read the same book and asks Tatsuya what his name is. Tatsuya is taken aback because he finally found someone who actually understands him. However, overusing his power has made him weak. He falls off the railing and has to be saved by Shuichi. But to their misfortune, the railing breaks and both of them drop down several floors. In the following scene, Tatsuya is at the police station, blindfolded and restrained. It turns out that Shuichi saved his life during the fall. Shuichi is also alive thanks to his healing superpower. In the last scene, we see Shuichi, Kanae, Akira, and Bee selling Kanae's book to her fans. That was all from the video. I hope you liked it. Subscribe for more content like this and hit the like button to help us out. Also, leave a comment if you want us to recap your favorite movie. Until next time, take care.